When your child faces a bully, do you raise a fighter or a negotiator who wins without fists? It was a gloomy afternoon. The wind rustled through the trees as if foreshadowing a terrible day. Billy dragged his feet along the path home. His eyes were heavy with sadness, hands clenched tightly around his backpack. He had just been humiliated in class. Jake and Tommy had exposed his comic sketches for everyone to see, mocked him, and even stole the sandwich his mom had lovingly packed. When he got home, Billy quietly opened the front door. His mom was cooking dinner, and hearing the sound, she called out gently, a hint of worry in her voice. "Did anything fun happen at school today, sweetheart?" Billy muttered. "Nothing." Mom, before quickly heading upstairs and slamming his door shut. The camera panned slowly across his mother's face, her eyes filled with concern. Cut to a new scene, the low growl of a luxury car engine echoes outside the gate. A pair of polished leather shoes steps onto the pavement, followed by the unmistakable presence of Mr. Trump, tall, sharp-eyed, impeccably dressed, and radiating sheer confidence. Mr. Trump stepped into the house, exchanged a few words with Billy's mom, then walked upstairs and gently knocked on his grandson's door. Without waiting for a response, he opened it and walked in, taking a seat next to Billy. "You look like you just lost a billion-dollar deal. Something happened at school." Billy hesitated, but eventually began to open up about the mocking, the isolation, the stolen lunch. Trump listened quietly, his face full of empathy, but firm, never soft. When Billy finished, Trump paused for a moment, then asked, "Do you want to win with force or with intelligence?" Billy stayed silent. "You know," Trump continued, "in business, I've been blindsided, backstabbed, even had deals stolen right in front of me. But I turned my enemies into partners. Anything is possible, if you know how to negotiate." Billy looked up. "I don't even know where to start." Trump smiled. "Then let's start with lesson 1. The next morning, Billy was jolted awake by the sound of his grandfather, chanting exercise slogans right in his bedroom. "A true negotiator never slouches." Up and at 'em, my little General Trump taught Billy how to stand tall, shoulders back, eyes locked straight ahead. They practiced the power handshake. Trump's grip was so strong it knocked over a chair. Both of them burst into laughter. The room instantly felt lighter. Then Trump shared a childhood story, how someone once stole his pencil at school. Instead of fighting, he offered to help that kid with math homework in exchange. That, Trump said, was how I negotiated justice. Billy's eyes lit up. It was like a switch had flipped. He suddenly realized he had value too. His talent for drawing, his skills in basketball, his tech smarts. Trump led Billy out to the backyard where he had already spread out a rough map of the schoolyard. Together, they began analyzing the landscape, which groups were neutral, which ones tended to bully, and who were the influentials that could be won over. Trump pointed to a few names and said, "Emma gets teased for wearing glasses. Marcus is always called a nerd. These are your potential allies. Bullies are strong when you're alone, but they shrink when you build alliances." They drafted what Trump proudly called a collective negotiation strategy. Billy's mission. Approach. Each person listened to their stories and share his own. It wasn't about fighting fire with fire. It was about creating a team, a community, a voice no bully could ignore. Trump took on a new role, the bully. His voice turned gruff, his eyes narrowed with mock menace, and he waved around a fake sandwich like a trophy. This was training day. Billy was put through a series of real-life scenarios, each designed to test a different skill. Scenario 1. Getting mocked for drawing manga. Trump sneered. "What's this cartoons for babies?" Billy took a breath, stood tall, and replied, "It's called manga. Ever heard of Demon Slayer? I'm building worlds you couldn't survive in." Trump grunted. "Nice comeback." Scenario 2. Lunch theft. Trump lunged for the sandwich again. Billy calmly countered, "Tell you what, I'll fix your game avatar. You get to look cool online and I get to eat lunch in peace. Deal." Trump smirked negotiation. I like it. Scenario 3, being isolated. Trump crossed his arms, pretending to be one of the cool kids. Billy said, "No worries. I'm organizing a 3-on-3 basketball tourney open invite. You in?" Trump raised a brow. Rebuilding the social map. Impressive. As Trump amped up his performance, Billy started responding with sharp wit, confident body language, and just the right touch of humor. He was learning the art of pause, pivot, punchline, not with fists, but with finesse. At recess, Billy and his newfound crew made their way to the basketball court. Jake and Tommy were already there, dominating half the court like they owned it. Billy stepped forward, voice clear and confident. "I've got a proposal. Why fight over space when we can turn this into a tournament? Winning team gets a prize. Losers. Bake cookies for the whole class." Jake scoffed. "Who gave you the right to make demands squirt?" But Billy didn't flinch. He replied calmly, "It's not a demand, it's an invitation. A fair match, with the school monitor watching." Just then, Trump stepped out from behind the bleachers wearing a hall monitor hat. The group burst into laughter. The tension melted away. Jake exchanged a glance with Tommy, then gave a slight nod. "You're on." They sealed the deal with a power handshake. The whole court erupted in cheers. Back home, Billy rushed in and threw his arms around his grandfather. "I did it, Grandpa. I didn't have to fight, but I earned their respect." Trump winked. A successful negotiation is when both sides walk away smiling. Win-win. In the final scene, Billy sits at his desk and types his very first tweet, "Negotiated peace. Formed a team. Won respect. Thanks, Grandpa." It was a classic Trump lesson. Clever, bold, and straight to the point. But more importantly, it was a message for every kid out there. You can change the game if you know how to talk. Watch the humorous and meaningful series when Trump's grandfather teaches his grandson top life skills through everyday situations. Subscribe to the channel to not miss the latest episodes.